for me, in terms of love, isn't so predicated in terms of that way of expression, romancing life at large. And I romanced the situation very thoroughly, and I was firing on all cylinders, so I was expending all of me, my heart, my mind, my spirit, my soul, everything I brought to the table. I was all in. And so I've shied away from the personal experience where I've always couched, even when I was in the situation and maintaining the coherency of my own system, I was documenting it via posts on Facebook in an abstract way. So I was talking about things like vanity and preposterousness and all of this, looking to make sense of what I was encountering. Because it's such a mind push, you know. And then I was like, man, I'm not, like my expression was, I'm scattered. So I have to kind of pull all of that together. And I want to write a beautiful story.
Nice.
I want to write, because for me, there's so much beauty in the meta logic of what I was part of. And
you extract that, right?
Yes, it is that.
Did you say meta logic?
Meta logic.
Meaning?
Overview.
The overview, the logic of the universe, the logic of the more, that I have no real conception of. It's incomprehensible, yet at the same token, there's a part of it that we can comprehend. Like, hey, this is happening for a good reason. There's a logic here that I don't quite get. And I'm in it and I'm moving through it. Once, like in that situation, once I was out of it, I then went to task. I took stock of like, what just happened? Because when you're in a situation, you're maintaining it. You
bubble?
Well, yeah, a deliberate bubble in that you, I mean, for me, the huge lesson was unrelenting positivity. First, I thought it was hope. It's like, wow, because if I look at all my relationships, I can say self-identity, self-assurance, self-acceptance, self-assertion, my high school relationship, kindness, all of that. And I was like, oh, this is about hope. And then one day I woke up and I realized, actually, hope has inherent within it doubt. So sack hope.
That's a really good point.
Sack hope. I'm not interested in hope. And that's when I got on to, hey, it's about positivity. And not like, la 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 la, hop, skippity. No, this is about a stalwart positivity. This is about me maintaining my coherency. Because I saw how my coherency impacted situations. When I lived with Sherry Sylvie, I moved into this large house. That house, I was the custodian really, because she was off to the Himalayas, Patagonia, all over. But I saw how I impacted her, and I guess I looked and I realized that all my life I was doing this. But there I saw it for the first time, like,
what were you doing exactly?
She changed. She changed by her mere proximity to me, living with me. I can't say me, I did this. No, the coherency of my system and my connection to the largeness is what created this. The universe brought me there because of all of this. She's an artist, but I quickly realized, like, in her world, there's only room for one artist in this house. So I couldn't express myself. There was this crowd, but we did lots of things. Me, with the tarot card, we took all her paintings and we put it into this tarot deck. That was our project together. However, that project was the conduit for, every tarot card we read, we invoked it. Because I said, hey, let's read this aloud. And there was this channeling of all of us, which we brought to the fore. And there was this dance between us. And it was a healing dance, especially for her, because she came out of this divorce, her husband managed her affairs, and I understand that in terms of she wanted to just create, you know. And so there was that. Then with G moving, when he asked me to move in, it wasn't him, it was Don. Don and Karen owned this house. There are 4 houses on this property right on the river, and he had a rent exchange with them where he was doing, yard work. But he used to visit me and I used to visit him, hanging out. And in that situation, John was like, Don was sleepwalking. He was in this freaking walking coma. He wasn't alive. He wasn't interacting with life. And then when I came along, he came out of his shell. He became this husband again. He started hiking again, and he's this artist.
You have an amazing effect on people.
Well, yeah, and like I said, it's not so much me, but
Right, the universe through you.
yeah.
Right?
And so, and Don recognized that, and we worked together in the same way. He's an artist, so I worked with him in the same way I worked with Sherry, in the sense that, so even though G invited me to live with him, it was Don really that invited me.
Right.
And he was like, I organized all his artwork. That was my burger coming up. I mean, he had, like, all his stuff was just like, and I organized it. And we did lots of things together in that sense. We'd go to meetings together, art galleries, and we plot. Both of them, they were stuck, Sherry and Don, in terms of their art. And they were basically unplugged by the dance of
That's
us.
a superpower you got.
It is.
Yeah, in a
Magical
sense.
superpower.
And so there was this dance of us. So that's how I got to be there. However, coming back to the situation now, I know my story's going like that, to where I realized last night that I'm shying away, but there's all this power, and it's I have to go in my power. I have to pull back. I have to kind of collect, right? The what I left in these situations that boosted these people, like G. He no longer had anxiety. He didn't check out because he was putting such a lid on his subconscious. I set up bonding rituals for all of us, for us, because he couldn't relate in terms of doing yoga in the morning together, Tai Chi, some Pilates, making a big pot of tea, saying, okay, how are we going to, like, what's the day going to bring us? How are we going to plot the day? So all of these were very simple things. However, they had massive effect. Coming back to your post, Myles, in terms of the incremental things you do every day. I didn't do anything spectacular. And this is in all my relationships with my girlfriends as well. I'm not doing anything spectacular. I'm doing little things that any one of us could do.
But you're being you in your unique way.
Precisely, and that is really incumbent on each and every one of us to really, when we are real selves, Myles, coming back to your movement, that is how we impact and affect change.
Right.
Not because we want to impact or we choose to impact. However, that is just the nature of us as human beings,
Right, that's what
that
it
we
is.
are impactful.
This is a great post to the universe.
Yes.
Should you choose to post it anywhere on social media, that would be awesome.
So I'm going to show you what I did
Yeah, read that quickly, the bottom quote.
in terms of...
Bottom quote.
Read out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, when we
This way,
realize we
please.
can change the world, contribute.
This way, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
when we realize we can add to the world, change the world, contribute positively to the world, simply via being aware, we undergo a profound moment of personal empowerment.
In
And
this
it's
story
being aware
is
of
the
ourselves
origin of that
and-
quote. That's
Whose
why I
quote is
wanted.
that? Whose quote is that?
Oh, it's in the book.
Is it your
Yeah.
quote?
Yeah, well, it's Biala Noble's
Yeah,
quote, but
it's
our quote.
it's the amalgamation of our experiences in terms of just what I experience and what I share becomes this larger thing.
But I'm saying that the story she's telling is that good. That
Right.
you can affect the world just through the force of your awareness or the way your way of being. It's quite amazing. Just
Right.
who you are. You don't have to do anything specifically. Just who you are can make a difference, right? Really cool. I mean, online, obviously, you have to share it in some way.
I don't want to
Still-
share
It's still the same thing,
personally
because you're just
Right.
sharing who you
in that
are.
way.
It's understandable.
Very simple. Did you
Yeah,
see the
I
post
made-
about
So I
truth?
make these.
Somebody made a comment about magic
So
of the
last
post.
night,
Truth.
after we,
Which
I
one?
don't know because I was like, man,
Which
I
post?
assume
didn't
your
like
most
that
recent
last
post, but I'm not
so
sure.
I
Oh,
made
what?
a post
Yeah,
and
in
then
a circle.
I was thinking about just some interesting things, which,
Where are you posting? On your private
This-
Instagram?
no, this is,
Oh.
actually I have to
Facebook.
unhack my Instagram is hacked. I got like 3,000 odd pictures.
It was, you can unhack it.
I've got to claim my Instagram back.
Somebody took it?
Yeah, this girl just put her name on it. It's a private Instagram. But somehow she hacked it. She put her name on. She hasn't added one picture. She hasn't added one friend. Yeah, it's
Oh my
silly.
God. You
Yeah,
need to get that back.
yeah. So the impossible is possible and is sometimes revealed in a most preposterous
I love
way.
it. I love
That
it.
was my experience.
I love it.
Yeah.
They even made a little photo story.
I
of-
like doing that.
Yeah, it's
And I
magical,
like the
magical.
succinctness of my expression when I
Right.
do this, because when I'm talking, there's so much, and I can't organize it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I can't say that. Sometimes an option is not entertained until it is presented, and once presented, one can only but embark on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I encountered in that proposal.
Yeah, well, I guess what you're meaning, let me see if I understand this, we're feeding it back, like, talking
Mhm, the
about,
takeaway.
I read that post that you forwarded to me, that you tagged me on agree, disagree.
Oh, the understanding post.
Understanding.
The understanding is
right,
Yes.
right.
So if I were to understand this, once the universe talks to you, sometimes it's insisting that
Yes.
you act,
Yes.
if you're aware.
Yes. Yes.
And I was being hit over the head because this guy was like in my face all the time. And I bet you he wouldn't remember any one of those incidents.
This guy meaning Don?
What time is your-
This is G.
Gee.
You had a
In
meeting
terms
with
of
Drew?
like the universe is saying,
Right.
hey,
Did we
So
set
then
anything up with Drew
you
today?
made it apparent to
No.
him,
No.
to these
So-
people that you've been
I've
affecting, you made it
I've
apparent to
reached
these
out to,
people
I haven't heard back from him.
that the universe is talking to
No
them.
worries.
I'm
Make
sure
them
he's on
aware.
vacation, is he just?
well, the thing
Oh,
is
he's in the
people
mountains
become
until
aware
tomorrow,
of
he
what
said.
they
Ah,
can
right.
become aware of.
Right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the last thing he said Friday, and he said, yeah,
And
Friday would
you
be
know
great,
what
you
was
know, but there was a
interesting?
good
I went
system,
to
and
bed.
never heard
I
back
made
in.
this
And
post.
I
I went to
messaged
bed and
again
I
yesterday saying, oh, you know, we got,
I
it's live
realized
now,
that,
join if you want, or
our
live soon.
the
So,
house, like
after we
was
do the
set
dictionary
up
power
like an
stuff,
office,
we can
you
go
know, we had a
into
thing on
the
bed, and it was very simple, but he took my
details, the
bouquet.
practical
Yes,
stuff, the
yes.
business stuff.
Yes,
You know,
that's
we
what
went
I'm very
up on the
keen,
mountain
yes.
and we had
We
so-
talk about
a
possibilities,
friend of mine took
Right,
me
right.
to-
and then I've
But
got a call with someone
I
tomorrow,
took my bouquet and hung it
and a
upside
call
down. And
probably.
that was the only decorative
Probably with
thing
Drew
and
tomorrow, too.
contribution to
Okay,
our
brilliant.
So then,
It was funny, but
That's
yeah,
okay.
One
I
of the possibilities
chose this
now,
picture
talk to them.
unwittingly.
Upside
and then
down.
bring it back.
Yeah, upside down roses.
I very much liked your
Promises
idea
made,
was
blah,
just
blah,
doing
blah, and deliberately
like a
not
live
is
and
a
invite
great
people
thought.
to it,
Right.
like you said,
But
get everybody
it just
on,
hit me after
either
the
they
fact.
pay you or not, donation, payment, either way, it doesn't
I mean, I
matter.
chose the pictures
Just
for
so that
their
there's some kind of
eloquence.
commitment.
Absolutely, it's beautiful.
Potential
Yeah.
commitment,
Well, that's
you know, investment for the
metalogic of the universe.
And
And its workings is a
to
marvelous
use
opportunity
that
to extend
primarily
and be intimately involved in the
for the
co-creative
purposes
process.
of,
It's just what you're
market
saying.
research.
Yeah, I was
See
in
what
a
kind of activity we
co-creative
get,
process.
see what
And I
people
went there
respond to,
knowingly.
see what their
I
comments
mean, I
be.
knew that, wow, here is a person
Be very cool.
through no fault of his own.
Yeah, so I have to figure out how to balance that.
Of a character education.
Right.
But I
Bringing
had,
other people
So
in,
where can I
to
find
the
this?
same
Where
audience?
is this?
it's on my Facebook.
so I have
I
to figure that
think
out
Oh, you did?
and what the implications are.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's lots of it.
Look at this picture.
Isn't it lovely?
But I mean that, that's one possibility. There's
One
lots of other
can be an agent of the
possibilities.
universe and in service of greater change by simply embarking on
How
a
is the-
challenge present. Yes,
The mentor
challenge
groups,
present.
I signed into one, but I didn't put anything out yet.
The engaging and embarking on
Doing
a
anything on
challenge.
those.
So
How
if
those
you
go,
want
how
to
those
feel
work.
an
If you talk to Nikki,
experience
the
of
admin,
the self,
Right.
yes.
she will set you up with your
I
own
mean, these are
mentor.
all things that I
Facebook
garnered from
group.
that
You'll
experience.
be able to invite
So,
people to your
it's
mentor
From your
group.
life.
And then one of the girls, who,
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're building
All
on all
coaches
of the
well.
stuff that came
Yes.
before that.
she says, hey, if you join my
Absolutely.
group, you get 6 weeks free. At the end of the 6 weeks, you have a choice to, pay and join the
Challenging
course.
engagements
Wow,
can be
okay.
a tremendous
This is what I'm doing.
foundation.
And then,
That's the one you were talking about the other day,
And-
about doing the split.
right. And then so she'll donate 20% of her proceeds to us.
Yes.
Right.
Just use
Or dot, dot, dot.
Just because
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
our friend
If
getting.
somebody's
Oh,
talking
it's
and they just stop,
Taken for
sometimes they'll
granted.
go, and,
it's pretty
because
good.
there's more, there's always more.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And,
Now, let's
wait
see.
a minute, challenging
If you-
engagements can be a
you're making
tremendous
the mentor group,
self-validation.
you put in the regular inner circle group that, hey, I'm open for mentees or something like that.
Mhm.
That's
Actually,
what-
then
that's
you-
what
yeah.
does that.
Then
I
you
don't
come back.
No, you
Yeah.
can just say, like, there's a post pinned to the top.
Look at that.
Oh,
I
you
tried to
comment
do
on
last
that
night.
part.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
even say,
Remember that?
at Nikki,
Yes. Did you?
hey, I want to become a mentor.
Take a quick look. Read that to me.
An endeavor once embarked upon can solicit the extraordinary.
But I'm trying to figure out how that,
Ever
like,
once embarked,
that
solicit
those 6 weeks thing.
extraordinary,
actually very interesting to do because,
within.
man,
That's great.
To
Now I'm
mentor
gonna ask
somebody for
Ann.
6 weeks
Ann.
like that.
That's more.
How sharing
Oh, yeah.
your course, I don't know. That'd be very
Ann.
good to do.
Because the extraordinary is the more.
Give them a question.
Well, it is.
Come back
Yeah.
to next week.
Within.
Let's talk about the answer.
But there's
But
always.
it's not the extraordinary within
Ah,
alone.
As I say, for
The
me, it's having very
extraordinary
difficult
within
to
is
do to
connected
not,
to the extraordinary more.
You just have to develop your own system and ask Nikki to share the other people's systems. See what works.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I suppose you could spend 6 weeks by basically talking about their problem.
You know,
without
thank
really
you.
giving any
Because
answers.
you got me.
Just keep asking questions so that you can come to their own resolution.
Because when she's done my and
Yeah,
helped my
let them sit in the pain for 6
Instagram, it
weeks.
just
you know.
stopped me.
Well, I would say 6 weeks
Yeah.
or earlier.
We're driving
It was 6
up your
weeks
road,
too long, you know,
Coffee
right?
Pot Road.
I mean, it is what it is. That's just one
Can you
example.
Right,
imagine
right,
going
right.
home
Just an
every
easy
day
way of
and
doing it.
seeing this,
But
how magical is this?
That's interesting. What is her course offering?
You,
You know?
when we pulled into the
she's a spiritual teacher
Airbnb.
of some sort.
You were at Nepente?
A spiritual healer.
Yeah, yeah.
Nepente,
Oh,
yeah. I was like, man, there's
You
a
know what
park
the
right
price
there.
point is?
The road by you could have been lying there
Yeah,
midnight
like
every night looking at the
1500.
stars.
Seriously?
So it's
I
not, it's
know.
not
Why didn't you
like
tell me
200
that?
I just thought of it last
99 or
night.
something. No,
Oh,
that's good.
Because
jeez.
I was like, actually, you guys could have taken a stroll down there and just
You gotta be
like
kidding
maybe
me.
even slept up
Interesting.
there under the stars.
Very interesting.
Because then there's nobody there, there's a
Are
little
you
place,
serious?
yeah, right down the bottom, the end of that
That's
street.
nuts.
Yeah. It's just there's so much happening here. You know.
To set up a course too, that's very fast. Very quick.
Wow, it just keeps jumping back.
To do a course doesn't take long to set up a course. You know, instead of doing it like I said with
Oh, I
a,
know where the next one. I think
do
this
a
is
joint
the
thing
most
in the group,
The
you know,
range
that,
and depth of
that has
extraordinary
complications
interaction
to it.
can harness exquisite variety of being,
But you know, if one sets up
revealing the
a
self
course
to
separately,
oneself.
yeah, like we already got the platform going, you can just do it exactly the same way. We've just got to add content and just
Extraordinary
let it go.
can harness
Just
the
link
exquisite variety being
to
revealed in
folks
itself.
to connect.
This is what happened to me this week.
Oh
The
yes,
format
totally.
This is what happened to me.
That's why I always like
I don't think it's gonna work for. So I've got a template of my own course.
Right, right. I mean,
I
that,
connect
it doesn't have to be
to
that
I'm writing to
format,
that,
just
not
just
to
the
me.
hosting of it, that's all.
So I have another suggestion for another
Access.
thing, and that
What I would
is,
like to do, is
to post something
go over
about
my course with
how
you.
Oh yeah,
your
that would be the
being
best.
and we'll take it
creates
together in a
a
sense,
sphere of
and then
influence.
see how many
That
holes that we can fill.
Right, right.
More
Just fill it out,
to other
place it
people
out.
say.
And make that the broad overview course.
Right, exactly.
And
What
then
you
once
just
it's
That's what I
finally
meant.
demand,
What's that?
people are like,
That's a great
alright, on
concept.
step
Right.
module
It's
2,
actually a
Right.
friend
I really want to learn more
of
about
mine, he
this,
does
and they
these
create a whole course on
world
that.
books.
Yeah.
I met him a long time ago.
So
and
basically,
then he just
take it in the sense that
and I remember how
you make a big, the masterclass course, or the university curriculum, as it were. Right? That's kind of what I was, why, and you use there for exactly this reason. So you say, okay, let's just say the wave impeccability course is what you want, the overall, just for argument's sake. But instead of taking that one big course like that, you can break it down and say, okay, just do a course on impeccability, just do a course on intent, just do a course on self-conception, and so on. Exactly. That's what you're talking about?
When you,
So basically they do it
I'll give you
one
a
section
real
at
world
a time,
example, with polarized lenses.
depending on what you want to connect. Because it doesn't matter what order you do it.
You know, blocks out some of the light and turn it,
Yeah.
you can see, it changes the light.
That's
That is a
the whole
subject
idea of a new YouTube, and also
coherence.
why we set it up that way. Because long before we started this course, we had that going, is to exactly connect with other people. So okay, you know, your speciality, just I don't know if you're going to it, but for argument's sake, okay, like Connie, she does like spiritual stuff. You don't really touch on that type of spirituality. More like, you know,
And
about
I've
Shasta
always
type
felt very
spirituality.
strongly
Alright, people are into
in
that,
sense.
fine,
And also I
you know,
see
you
in
go
terms
this
of
way.
my
You know, so,
beginnings.
alright, somebody else is more like a business thing, where you're connecting
yeah.
your personal attunement,
was
but connecting
really
to a
from
business sense. Alright, cool,
the
go
bottom.
that way. So you get all these variations that are also depending on, and style also, you know. Just the demographics. Your course is obviously going to connect to a slightly different demographic, you see, so it's that too, just the style and how you know, the language you use,
On the windowsill
communication
behind
style
the
and all that.
curtain.
You remember this?
So
Yes,
it's kind of cool
yes.
where people see all this, and when they get on a
There's
call
this
for
whole
the
little
enrollment,
thing.
and that's
Oh,
the
I
key
always
part
remember
to
those
all of these
mornings,
courses,
they were beautiful.
is
And I
that
was,
you don't put up just a landing page. Where, yes, there is a landing page where they can look, but if they want to sign up, it's through a call. So that you can kind of screen them also.
But
to
I
some
knew
extent.
there was something
See
else
where
that
they're
I
at,
didn't
are they
know.
for real,
that I
really
learned when
prepared,
I
you
moved to
prepare them,
Savannah.
are you willing to really do all the exercises, do the homework, are you
I guess I
really
was trying to
willing
talk
to
to my
get
mom,
into
and
it,
she of course
where
didn't
you
understand
at
a word I was
exactly,
saying
what
because
is it
it was
that
all
you really
baby
want to
talk.
work on, really figure out.
Create a little job
gibberish.
form, people to,
But I
Right,
remember
right, so,
because personally,
she gave me the sippy
I'm not trying to take calls all day, you know.
no,
I was like, that's all I wanted.
but it, I mean, if you're doing a high ticket thing, then it is worthwhile. And you don't have to do it yourself, you know, you
How
can
it
get people
was
to do this
presented
for you, to
through
shred
a
it to
bottle
you,
of
it's not a big
sippy
deal.
didn't matter to me.
But then, I'm saying longer, bigger term picture.
It was
So,
also
so
like
let's say
nice.
you've got the whole thing
That
set
was
up and there's all
bullshit,
these different
really.
courses by
Really
different
took your
people.
bottle away.
Then whoever does that those calls,
This is
they
amazing.
fit
This
and
is
match
my
the
book.
people to the course.
So to me, and about
Yeah.
these experiences.
I like it.
The possibility.
All I can
But
say
yeah, no,
is
keep
that
to do. And your course is, do you have a theme, a topic, or is it just a big broad one so
This is
far?
the reclamation,
The reclamation.
Maybe
so this
all
is,
of
this
us,
is my process.
you know,
In and over
That's
again.
excellent, that's excellent.
I
It's
remember
the process
my
of
mom
shifting,
in terms of
dealing with all
just
the
the
truth.
the socializing.
Dealing with awful truth, yeah.
Right, that's essentially what it is. You know, facing, dealing, and then transforming the awful truth into awesome
I
truth.
realized
That's very cool, of course,
that
right
she
there.
gave it up, her connection. And I
That's
refused
nice.
to give up my connection, but I wasn't going to be
I'll be most
a
excellent.
weird child.
And you added, well, you know, these things you can't think of it ahead of time, how long they are. They're as long as they need to be,
Maybe that
and no
was
longer.
it. I don't know.
Mhm.
That
Profound
more than
awareness.
which we came
You know,
from.
that's something that the side ticket guys,
Now
COE,
the
that
good
they
is that hey,
really push in a
whatever
big way.
I'm
People
garnering
always
here,
ask that, and they do a
I'm
lot of
going to.
business.
So maybe
Do a ton of
that
business.
was the way
With
I
coaches,
came
you know, that's
into.
it.
So
Coaches.
there's that program.
So it was kind of neat to see from a market
And
research
that
thing
program
what all the
today,
coaches are
I'm
asking.
hedging
Yeah,
all my
because you
bets.
have
Maybe
private
I hedged my
quality
bets
course
before I
to
came
get
in.
into.
That I'm not going
And I
to
was,
give
how
up
long should my course
because
be?
I'm not going to give up
As long as it's
everything I
necessary
learned
and the quickest way
in
possible to get your
in
results.
this
Mhm.
life.
Basically, you're looking at
For
the
whatever
outcome, the
comes,
result.
since
It
I
doesn't
don't
matter, the
know,
rest is
I'm
irrelevant.
hedging all
If they
my
can
bets,
take a
and
course
this
in a
is
day and get the
kind of
result, oh, bingo, brilliant. Problem solved.
the thing that we
So it doesn't matter how long it
we
is.
strongly feel
But again, too,
for him and
just
his
from a psychological
experiences.
point of view, if it's too
Yeah,
short,
you know,
people have an
growing up
expectation
I
of
was
that.
lucky.
They don't believe they are going to get profound life change
Marvelous,
just in an hour. You know what I mean? It's just, psychology doesn't work like that.
You know,
Mhm.
So
and,
sometimes you do have to
and
spread
yet
it
at
out.
the
Plus
same
too,
time, I was letting
if you
go
have
of
density
devices,
the way
in
we
a
have,
sense.
there's a necessity to
No,
spread it
no,
out.
I'm one of five.
Take their
He's
time,
one of five.
process it. So
However,
time-gated courses, I'm a big
the
believer in that. I think that's very
similarities
important.
are in the sense
That you
of
force them to
we
wait
were
for
both
the
left
next
to
ones.
our
Hey,
own
take this,
devices.
absorb it,
Me,
use it,
in the
do it. You
sense
give them some practical
I was
exercises.
responsible
To do something, you
and
write it out,
it's
get
a-
back. It
and
doesn't have to
all
be
my
the live
sons,
take
my
away
parents
things,
didn't have to worry
but
about
some form of
They didn't
interactivity.
have to
Okay,
do
even if
much
it's just
more
like a
parenting.
report on what you
However,
got out of
they
it.
did
You scan
provide
that, you check it, so
was
that they
some
do feel like
magnetism
you
in
are
that they
taking a personal
provided
interest in them in some way.
something.
This is very
And
critical.
that they never,
Because also
they
that,
weren't
I mean, not just that they feel they're being personally attended to for the value, but that
just be able to
there's
take
the
care of
opportunity
yourself.
for customization.
You know, whatever you
Has to
wanted
be.
to just
It
be
doesn't
able
matter. I
to
mean,
take
yes,
it
group
so that
coaching
you
is
don't
where it's
infringe
at because, you
on
know,
it.
if you just do one-on-one,
And that's
with
largely
limited
been
time.
mine. They've been
But
very
there has to be
resourceful.
that opportunity
In
for
my
customization.
unusual
So
way,
somebody has to, they
but
look at the
never
material
infringe
and you say, okay,
on
well,
it.
what does this mean to you?
So,
Different people are going to say
not on
different things. You're
any
not going to
other
understand it in exactly the same way. So you have to
When I
check
got
to make
divorced
sure that they're getting
from
what
Case,
you want them to
my
get out.
lawyer wanted
Sometimes
to
they
keep
don't,
it.
they don't have a clue.
And I
They
said,
like
no,
it.
I have
Somebody
no
took the
children
perspective
with this
shifting thing and said, what does
I'm
perspective shifting mean to
young
you?
and
Well,
able.
until you
I
said
want
perspective
nothing
shifting,
from
I
it
never
but
heard of
my
it before.
freedom to go,
You
to
can't
move
figure it
on.
out from the word perspective shifting, you know, it's
I
like,
could
hello.
see he thought I was an idiot. You know, just like
You
those
know,
guys
it's
were
just-
like, "You don't want him to
So,
marry me because
makes one realize, you
we
know,
don't
not
have
everybody's on the same
anything
page.
going." And you
But
sort of
it's
like,
quite
this is like a
amazing how
business
that works.
transaction.
Hmm.
You know, you're looking for some kind of
It's
trophy.
really amazing.
And
Yes,
I'm not that.
most amazing,
And
most
besides,
amazing.
I'm not going to get
No,
ensnared
the
in that
computer's
somebody
frozen
can
up
take
here.
to me.
No, it's
I'm
not.
not going to do
What are you
that.
doing, computer?
I can see little things.
I'll
I
be
might not
frozen,
see the
I'm
whole
not.
picture, but I don't want to go there. Yeah. Yeah, it might, the balance sheet might look all wonderful, but I don't care. I'm able-bodied, you know,
And free.
and free.
Yeah.
And free. So it's exciting. So the last one was about the methodology. You see how I went full circle? I come back. I like telling stories like that.
Visual storyteller.
The mental logic and workings of these processes.
It's far-reaching effect. Yeah, I love
Look
that.
at that
Photo,
picture.
yeah, the photo
The
really
dandelions.
embodies it.
Yeah. And you see how
Yeah,
the
I love
story itself, because I had the dandelions over
This would make
there.
an awesome picture book.
So
Awesome.
I like doing these storyboards.
Yeah.
And this is my vision board.
Mhm.
Facebook is my vision board and my journal. So it's a fun way to journal.
Yes.
Because that was my journal from yesterday in terms
Right.
of like what
Right.
impacted me. And sort of thinking about it, how maybe, I don't know, I was just thinking in terms of power. Because power was a lot.
Right.
Is this underlying topic of, yes, we touch on it, but we can't really go to it directly.
Right.
You
It's
know?
not something you
No,
can feel.
yeah.
But I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing yourself last night with your stories and finishing up today here. Not finishing up, but continuing here. And to getting to know you better. It's getting to both of you better this week. It's been such a pleasure and honor.
Enjoy it, enjoy it.
An
Likewise,
experience that
John of Joy.
we want to express our gratitude. So here is our
Oh, wow. thank
Silly.
you.
Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Magic, magic, magic.
guys.
You made me cry. That's good cry. All good, all good. Appreciation of the magical
Tears of
universe.
appreciation. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you'll make me cry, Olivia.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming here.
Yeah. Oh.
For running your heart.
That was powerful, that was powerful.
I appreciate everything that has transpired.
Me too.
And that
Enjoy, Olivia, enjoy. It's magical, it's magical. You got your notebooks?
I'm going to get my computer so I can
Yeah.
type faster. Right. And then I can read it.
You know what I find, by the way, with putting a laptop on your lap, put a pillow on your lap, put the laptop on top
Yes,
of
it's a
it.
good
It
idea.
just helps for that neck bend.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, I just find that to be a
Except
very
that
useful.
it prevents
The
good
heat,
ventilation.
yes.
heat,
So what I
yeah.
would do, I use the pillow and then I like put a book or something underneath
Yeah.
it to give that. Or I used to have a little like a grid thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
that does help. Yeah. The heat gets hot. Gets hot.
Oh, I forgot to put this.
Oh, you were busy making something, I thought.
I had to put the stuff in the fridge,
Ah,
and I forgot.
I just had to reboot the computer here, it froze. Okay.
What would be a concise and magical way to finish this sentence? When our intent matches the universe's intent,
What were we gonna do? I mean,
for someone who
Say
doesn't
that
understand
again.
what
right. When I
Could
intend.
you repeat that?
when our intent matches the universe's intent,
You channel energy, channel
Yeah.
flow.
We leverage what little we have into the maximum possible.
Leverage is the word, capital L.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
we experience magic.
That's
Right.
what my
Or we
thinking.
leverage
My
magic,
mind
or you don't want to
into
use
magic.
leverage because you don't necessarily know what it means. Right? We boost our magic, we boost our personal magic to the maximum possible.
Yeah.
Or we connect ourselves to more than what we are.
And?
And
that?
the more. That's John's thing. And.
So
And the
There's
more.
always more. Right? But
Because
it's
we're
just that-
connecting to the more within ourselves and the more of the universe. So our intent and the universe intent, when we do that alignment, we get on that same track.
It
It helps
just
the universe become aware of it. So
Yes.
that
Through
that would be the same. Yeah. When you connect your intent to the universe's intent, you help the universe become more aware of itself. Or you're part of it.
Can you imagine if every cell in your body was totally just fibrillating with utter thorough aliveness? It's like, I feel,
That's how I envision you.
so it's like that's
It's
That's
you.
like the process, I think,
You just described yourself.
in our body.
You're vibrating, everything's vibrating about you. You just, effervescent is the word.
Yes,
Miles, would you
yes,
agree?
that's your
Effervescent
balance.
is a good description?
Yes.
I always think of like buoyancy. Like
Yes.
it's
Magical
like,
effervescence.
like I've always had this bubble in me. And
Bubbly.
that bubble, a bubble, but a buoyant bubble, like a ball, right? Like that big ball. So that ball is like inside me. And that ball has been pierced several times. And, you know, with just life. And then it's like, oh, I've got to pump it up again. That's really what transpires. And it was hard this time, kind of pumping it up again. Didn't come that easy.
But there
It
was a lot
used to
of
be
power.
easy before.
Right.
You know, I would just bounce back. Like, okay, moving on.
But the reconstitution is also transformative.
Yes.
And layers of power and depth. So
Yes.
yes, it may have not been
Where
as easy,
before
but
it wasn't the garnering of power.
Right. The change as much as it this time, right? Deep change.
No, because I interacted so. I guess that was the thing. I was never really chips all in. That was the difference. It's
You're totally
interesting.
committed.
Yeah, totally,
I get it.
absolutely. Because it was an endeavor that was grander. You know, it was more than me and the other person. It was humongous.
This is what we're doing now.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, this
This
is
is like a culmination
Yeah.
of many things. not
That
just,
prepared me for this. Because yeah, it was like this, like, hey, this is about us. But this is a bigger us.
Right.
And to go to kind of dive deep. And it's interesting because it goes to not being hampered by that experience in terms of trust. In terms of, you can give yourself again thoroughly and completely, but this time to a project that is not just here, but more, because it's not just us. And I've always felt that, in terms of like, hey, I'm a Jane Goodall of a different kind. I don't know what kind, but it's not the chimpanzees.
We're always reinventing ourselves.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning and it's a new day, right?
It's in us.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
What did you say?
Totally.
He said the you is in us, that's why you is in us.
And it's just
in you as well.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it's sort of like we expressing ourselves, however, it's the universe expressing
Right.
itself
Right.
through us.
So I have to share something that I just shared with Miles on the drive up here just this morning, and that is, I've been working kind of on myself, but I've not dived deep like this. And it opens up the more possibilities, the more I'm gonna get out of life. I mean, that's really why I came here. And I see a way to do that and work on it.
That's magical. Right.
It is magical. And now, how do we translate that for other people to dive deep into themselves, to want to dive deep into themselves, and discover what makes them alive?
That's it. It's perspective shifting for self-discovery.
Right.
That's the workshop. That's exactly what it does.
Right. I mean, relationships is one aspect, and we can come up with dozens of different aspects of attuning to self and the universe.
It's just an awareness mechanism to make you aware of the possibilities. Really, that's the start. Once you're aware of the possibilities, and then you have a bit of a foundation and the groundwork to go for it. And again, just to come back to the cause, intent, impeccability, self-conception, habits and routines, mood management and attunement. And there you go.
Yeah.
And all
Very
those other subsets within that
Right.
umbrella.
But I mean, as a key, just
Yes.
as a real quick,
I mean, there's
this-
like 100 courses right
This
there.
is the foundational material to pull from, because it's in
Yes.
the abstract.
Right.
How do we apply it so people can easily digest it? And you're doing that with relationships right
trust.
now. How do we?
The answer to that question is to figure out what precisely they are looking to deal with and resolve.
Bingo.
Because that connectivity, you can.
The pain points.
It's the pertinence and relevance.
Self-worth.
When they come
Self-worth.
into it, right, exactly. But when they come into it from an angle where they want resolution, they focused on that. And now everything you say, because it's related to their pain point, it's pertinent and relevant.
True, Miles, in terms of self-worth, because that's that self-conception of who you are. That is so key, because that was, I guess, the difference for me coming in, that I had that larger self-conception in terms of, like, we could say it simply, I'm a child of the universe, and that alone, because we're part of the universe, it's like, how can you not have self-worth? It's like, hey, you're part of the universe.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It's
Yeah.
self-evident.
Exactly.
the you that is you and the you that is the universe, the larger part is the universe, that unseen part of ourselves, our spirit, our soul. But I like spirit because, like, look, the whole thing to self-worth is to tend the spirit, the unseen part, the you in you. That is the crux of self-worth. When we go beyond, like,
Right.
not
beyond
as
physical.
beautiful, I'm not as smart,
Oh,
I'm not
right,
as
right.
talented and educated, or whatever,
And
the
that
self-doubts
that
that people have.
implies you're comparing yourself. And you don't need to do
Exactly.
that.
You can't. Does the universe compare itself to?
Itself? No.
No.
It just is.
Yeah, it just is.
That would be a great poster
Yeah.
for your book.
I
Book
just
of life.
am. I am this more.
Right.
And that's the thing, and that's the meditation too.
I am.
I like that meditation. I'm more than my body, I'm more than my physical self.
Since we kind of in
Because you
recap,
tap into the more.
no, I was going to say, since we kind of in recap mode, somewhat, look at how we came at self-worth. We didn't specifically focus on it directly. We came at it to saying, hey, impeccability. Oh, you know what? I understand impeccability. Now that I've kind of delineated a little bit, yes, of course impeccability is in me. Of course I want to be impeccable. Of course impeccability is important to me. Same with intent and same with the spiritual. It's organic. We didn't use it directly.
The way of worthiness. Wow.
There you go, exactly.
That's awesome. That could be a nice book right there.
Or a course.
Or a
Exactly.
course,
the way of
The way of
worthiness.
worthiness, exactly.
We should look. We're great. We're starting
Yes.
to
Oh,
brainstorm.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Way of worthiness.
I love it. I love it. I'm just saying that there's different
I
ways
like
to
that.
come
Wow.
at it.
Because you want to wow yourself.
Right.
Every morning you want to get up
That's
and you
right.
want to wow yourself.
Right.
And we want people who take the course and go, wow, that was awesome.
Right. Right.
Wow.
Wow.
Way of wow.
They're going to say wow so many times during the
Wow.
day.
Way of wow.
I love it. I love it. So
No,
that,
the way
Right.
of worthiness is wow.
exactly. And that's the way of impeccability. When you
Yes.
Mic drop. Are we recording?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Woo!
Because you never know what we could do.
Exactly.
Hey, these are
exactly.
our
I love it.
antenna.
That's why I do
Right,
it, because
we
there's
love
always
it.
magic that comes, and you do want to have that. It's very important. But it's, you know, when you, from a self-worth point of view, what I'm trying to say is, the self-worth, if you come at it very directly and you say, oh, you are worthy, instead of coming from outside, you want to
Right.
set up the elements where, okay, yeah, this is what, and you choose it through your own connectivity.
Right, and there's a element of judgment
Oh,
in
this
there.
has to go.
Are you worthy or are you not worthy? That's judgmental.
Now, some people want to be told they're worthy, of course, but, you know, just,
So I figured out what was bothering me about the word appropriateness.
yes, which is,
Because in certain contexts, it could be judgmental.
and how would you, well, that's where proper comes into it, yes.
Right.
But that's why it's not
Right.
proper, right, exactly.
Because
And
if
that's
you
what
think
bothers people,
if
yes.
you use the synonym proper,
Right.
that was proper of you, that's my judgment of
Right,
you.
but proper is not actually appropriate. It's not. It
I
is-
know, and you mentioned that.
Right,
but
it's not even remotely
it came
connected.
back to me
Right.
this morning.
Because proper is a rule, which by definition you're saying this is the only way to behave.
Right.
How can that possibly be appropriate? In a particular situation,
Right.
yes.
It's the way, the appropriateness is the proper behavior in that context, at that time,
Right.
in this situation.
According to somebody. That's the difference. Proper is according to somebody else.
I wasn't implying that when I
Right.
said.
No, but that's
I
what the
understand.
word proper does imply. I mean,
Right.
because that proper, it's not according to you, it's according to somebody else. It's a preset
I was
rule.
modifying the word proper with
Right.
everything I said after that
Right.
to define appropriateness.
Right, but I'm just saying when you take proper in its its context, that's the difference that really makes. Because you could say, well, proper is if I go to the Queen, there's a proper way to behave, and that would be the appropriate way to behave. But it's appropriate according to the rules of etiquette and the Queen
Right.
stuff, not according to necessarily universal to me. That's the
Or the
difference.
rules of the culture.
Right,
or your
exactly,
parents or
exactly,
whatever.
exactly. So, and it might be appropriate in the context of, yes, the formality and the dinner, but if let's say I'm on a mission to change culture and to change habits and routines, well, then it wouldn't be very proper. Now, for me, it wouldn't be appropriate. Now I have to say, well, you know what, my mission is to not subscribe to these kind of limitations, to push them and expand.